The moment that you start not only entertaining thoughts but advocating for what is basically modern day segregation of a group of people as a black person is the day that you know that you've lost the plot. Allow me to land. A very hard truth that I've had to learn to accept is that just because you're doing something with good intentions or for good reason doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right decision. And this has not been more clear to me than the BAFTA issue. Knowing what I know about Tourette's, I'm fairly certain that in a situation in which I was called the N-word by someone who had it, I wouldn't take offense, and that is solely because of the very nature of the disease. From the people who have it and have talked about it, it is debilitating, it is embarrassing, and it is life-limiting in the way that it hampers the sort of social quality of your life because there is such a lack of knowledge, understanding, and compassion for it. And the same goes for a lot of different disabilities. Because of the reactive nature of social media and how it seems like everyone just wants to attack, we've simply lost the plot. As a former extremely reactive person, a valuable but hard lesson that I've had to learn is how little reactivity serves me in a lot of circumstances. Oftentimes you have an outburst and it feels good in the moment because you're so heated and it's essentially a release. But when you've had time to look at it long after you've cooled down, what did you achieve? And that is what I now ask myself before I react to anything, which is why I'm often late to the conversation. I ask myself 3 questions. Do I know enough? What are the likely outcomes of my reaction, and will I achieve my goal? Whatever my goal is, obviously varies by circumstance. Imagine if we had galvanized all that energy, all that anger, all that feeling, and channeled it into who really needs to answer for this? The BBC. I don't think the feelings of black people are invalid. The immediate reaction to hearing someone being called a slur would be unpleasant, but that reaction should have been tempered down when you also learned who said it and why they said it. Instead, we decide to fight racism with ableism. I have heard people call for basically segregation of disabled people without factoring in intersectionality. The fact that as a black person you can actually suggest that a group of people be ostracized from public spaces or physically muzzled is abhorrent, especially because black people know what that feels like. Not because being black is a disability, because it's not, but because shunning people in such a way all comes from different branches of the same prejudice tree. Someone is other, therefore they do not belong. They must not be seen, and it's acceptable to treat them in inhumane ways. The fact of the matter is that the BBC should have taken the reasonable steps to ensure that this situation was avoided. The simplest way would have been removing the slur from the broadcast and making sure that they touched base with Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo after the incident. That said, what stands out to me is the glaring disparity between able-bodied people and people with disabilities. People with disabilities have been shrouded in shame and secrecy for so long that our knowledge, humanity, and compassion for them is nearly non-existent.